They don't send the lawyers to jail because we run the country.
Do you run the country?
Still do.
I love it.
Still do.
I should say some lawyers run the country.
So you are some of them, two of them.
Yeah, a small amount.
We're still
yes.
members of a privileged class in this country.
So what does it mean you run the country? It means you...
We make the laws, and when we do so, we make them in a way that is advantageous to the lawyer.
Two ways. We make the laws, and some people say we selectively enforce the laws.
Another way to look at it is the old adage, a good lawyer knows the law, and a great lawyer knows the judge. Okay. Now, in point of fact, I went to law school with half the judges who sit on the New York State Supreme and the Federal District Court in New York. This happens that way over time. People you knew, people you have lunch with, people you're members of the Bar Association. Are they going to throw a case for you? No. But are they going to bend over backwards to be courteous to you? Yes, they are.
If his name now would appear in connection with buying some real estate here and other items, it would look at least very, very embarrassing.
Right, because presumably his salary and wherever it is would not cover the kinds of acquisitions he's been
for sure, that's the salary of a teacher here. And so how can we make sure that he is being able to buy property here and to live a nice life, but his name being out?
Right.
So if you're buying in New York, you would probably want a New York LLC.
Any problems with setting it up? Who would own the LLC? So who is...
Presumably we would set up a little bit of a series of owners to try and, again, protect privacy as much as anything else.
Yeah.
So Company A is owned by Company B, which is owned jointly by Company C and D, and your party owns all of or the majority of the shares of C and D.
So we create several companies.
Yes. You'd probably be better off with a smaller bank. Because
that would be a possibility.
Because the bigger banks are much more serious about looking into that stuff.
Their reputation.
Right, yes.
And there may be other banking systems that are less rigorous on this than the U.S.
What would it be?
Number of possibilities. England has gotten recently very tough on this stuff too. The usual banking havens, I think, would be ones you would want to consider. We could provide you with the list of countries where the banking systems require less detail on ownership or source of funds.
You'd set up a Delaware corporation to own the real estate.
That's right. So
that's the same cost.
So you don't have to.
But what would be better, in Delaware or in New York?
Well, if you set it up in New York, you have an attorney general that has to review everything, and you have a state that has a big corporate tax department and everything else. You set it up in Delaware, that's where every corporation sets up. There's too many. The franchise tax is very small, and you don't get involved with big tax returns.
This ain't for me. My standards are higher.
But that's fair enough. It's good.
What?
Therefore, I said we have to be very frank. So
right.
Yeah.
That's not interested.
Do you know anybody who would be able to do so?
I don't think so, and I wouldn't recommend it either.
Yeah.
Because those persons would be insulted.